in his house, bringing a great edition of Call of Duty for me to you, because that's what I do. And we are only less than 8 days away from Call of Duty Ghost reveal. And you're like, Fist, I mean, probably you're brand new to the series, and probably, well, what's going on? Hey, Fist, what's going on with these videos? Why are we going back so far in these Call of Duty videos? Well, you know, just like in history classes in college, the reason why you take history is to understand our past. And usually past repeats itself. You know, we are a cycling generation of humans who repeat things. So, and we try not to repeat the same things based on history. We try not to make the same mistakes, and we try to improve on ourselves. So the reason why we go over these videos is to show things like, you know, how things change from this Call of Duty 3 to Call of Duty 2, how things haven't changed, and it's coming up on the August 14th release, and we are looking for, you know, we're looking for dramatic changes, especially now that this is our new console, new cloud service, new everything. We're looking for major changes. And it's hard to see those when you don't have a new engine in place. I mean, that is, you know, we're sitting here like wondering, okay, they're gonna have all new weapons. We've heard this, you know, but are they gonna be all new weapons? But are they gonna be the same? 3 burst? How many bullets is it gonna take to kill you? The main thing that we are looking for, and the majority of the community is looking for, is fluidity in gameplay. Is things that make sense, things that do not, you know, make a Call of Duty player angry, things that keep the community together, that continuously want to praise your game and showcase it and tell everybody, yo, this is a great game, you should play it. Now, when you look at Call of Duty 3 from Call of Duty 2, what are some of the things that have changed from Call of Duty 2? One, you got the run button. That's the newest thing. You see me right here, I'm running. That was implemented in Call of Duty 3. They added that. Another thing that they added from Call of Duty 2 to Call of Duty 3 was kill streaks. Now, surprisingly enough, the kill streaks were given to the snipers. For some reason, I don't know, that's just the way it was, and so their major role was, you know, they got so many kills, they got to call in an artillery strike. Maybe because at the time they were considered weak characters, but they really, you know, we have to realize that David Vonderhaar and the guys at Infinity Ward never really associated or communicated with the community. The only things that they did was communicate through forums. This was before Facebook and Twitter and social media really got a hold of these guys and expressed how we really feel about the game. And we're going to get on later how that's been misconstrued, and it's still a growing portion for the developers not understanding who really supports their game and who they really should be listening to. Now, some of the things that you'll notice that from Call of Duty 3 that didn't change was the mini-map. Obviously, the mini-map didn't change. But the great thing is, you know, one of the great things that are still in the game is, you know, the ability to run, not taking stuff that was already in the game and then subdividing into subfolders. For example, you know, sprint faster, sprint longer, go pro. You know, making you choose between the things that that was already in the game in the first place. Respawn screens from Call of Duty to Call of Duty, from Call of Duty 2 to Call of Duty 3. I mean, they still had health regeneration, but if you were down, you would call a medic, which slowed down the game. Basically, they took out all the night maps in the game because, you know, people, they just can't handle night maps, so it slows down the gameplay. And their whole thing is like, you can see that their map designs from Call of Duty 1 were terrible. And then you go to Call of Duty 2, they were still big and slow. You can see this game was a very slow game. You know, hard to shoot people. You don't see that in this type of Call of Duty. The maps are really small and condensed, and with the maps being condensed, the weapons are not balanced to the weapons. I mean, the maps are not balanced to the weapons. And see, that's the problem. You know, they want to keep the game moving fast, but they don't balance the weapons according to how small the maps are. Here, we're talking huge maps for multiplayer. and you still have one-shot kill weapons, but they're really hard to aim. So that's understandable, and the reload time is really slow on them. The major thing from Call of Duty 2 to Call of Duty 3, like we said, was the run button, and the kill streaks were added, and more defined kill streaks. Now you'll notice that I will be covering part 2 of this episode on the Fist 2 channel. I'll be talking about it with different weapons and Call of Duty 3 as how it pertains to the other Call of Duty. One of the fascinating features that I've noticed in Call of Duty 3 was the fact that you weren't rewarded things like grenade launchers and explosive damage, or times you wouldn't get explosive damage unless you ranked up per game. So I thought about this, and I thought this was a fascinating idea from Treyarch, that instead of having somebody build their character before the game, is actually have a game where you earn stuff that is vital to your character by ranking up within the game. So for example, like explosive damage or C4. So you might have somebody that's throwing tons and tons of EMPs. Well, you might not earn those EMPs until you get like X amount of kills and you rank up. So like a sub ranking within the game. And I thought that was a great concept that they had banded, and it kind of balanced it out and gave it to the players that earned it within the game, and it would reset in the next game. I wish they would kind of bring that back and implement it some way, and it would tone down all the stuff from the beginning of the game, which takes away from the whole point of what they were trying to get to in the first place, and that was like running and gunning, gun on gun gameplay, and that's where they're at right now. I feel like you look back at these old Call of Duties, and they had a lot of, like I said, a lot of great ideas, and they just abandoned them or stopped them without further exploring them. And then some of the things that were expounded on are pretty bad, as evident in Black Ops 2, which we'll cover. Overall, I think Call of Duty 3 was one of Treyarch's better balanced weapon games out of all their games, and that's my opinion. So until next time, peace. I'm out. Don't forget to check out Fist 2 for the second part of this video. Peace. I'm out.